Hey guys, so I just wanted to make, well, knowing me, we'll see how quick this turns out, but I just wanted to make a video on magic squares and also share, I guess, some notes and stuff, or like what I feel like if you were working with magic of any kind, like if you're getting into like planetary hours, working with angels, energies, spirits, what have you, elements, things that you just might want to take note of. So I can't quite recall now how I found out about magic squares, but I think essentially more or less when I started getting into Solomonic magic and stuff, like I saw the Sator, Aripo, Tenet, Opera, Rotas, that's sort of like a magic square with letters. And so fast forward now, so like there's different number squares for each planet, and then so I did that, and then I also wrote down the Tree of Life, Kabbalah correspondence, also the elemental correspondent, that this is also one of the keys. It's called the reduction key. There's a few different versions of this, but this was the most common one that I chose. Here's a few like little notes I wrote. I should have wrote down the website so I could share, but you know, just do your own research. So I have that, and then I don't want to show all these notes because they're kind of silly, but so like that one's for the moon, corresponds to Yesod, which I believe is like foundation, not Malkuth, but yeah. And then silver, and then like these are all the like main numbers associated with it, and then yeah, I'm still like learning about this. I'm not gonna be explaining it too in depth. I'm still very much in the experimental phase of working with magic squares, but I did my first like working with actually with a few days ago with this Mars magic square, and yeah, so I basically, you would take a word that you want to like focus on and like harness that energy of. So like personally for me, I chose justice, and then so what you would do is, oh, I have it here too. So I wrote down justice, and then you use the reduction key. And so for justice, you know, it's 1 U, 3 S, 1 again, T, 2, and then you basically go from there. And then here, sorry, I just have a paintbrush with me right now because I've been painting. And then let me go back to Mars because I'm not gonna write it again because I don't want to like do a false working right now. But shoot, what is it? 1 3, let's just do part of it. 1 3 1 2. So it'd be, you go from 1 3 1 2. And essentially what you're doing with this square, which I guess I should have explained first, is like you're making a sigil. You're creating a sigil for that word, for that energy that you're essentially working with. Okay, and so what else can I show? Yeah, I caught someone's live, I believe he's Kale the Shaman or something. He was doing like a little class on like angel magic and stuff, so I was just taking notes because I'm familiar with a lot of these angels already, but I wasn't with all of them. And so he even went over dark angels too, which got kind of intense, but I was just like, all right. And then so also something important I wrote down, and this I got directly from my my Keys of Solomon that I have, and this is the table of planetary hours. So I very meticulously planned it out. So so I did it on a it was Tuesday. I said it was a few days ago. It was exactly on a Tuesday. So Tuesday is ruled by Mercury. So that's something else you want to have jotted down. Is you want to either have it written down until you memorize it, like sun is for Sunday, moon day, Tuesday, Mars, Wednesday is Mercury, Thursday Jupiter, Friday Venus, and Saturday is Saturn. So you want to like know that basically. And then so like, yeah, this table is kind of like, it was annoying, intensive, but I had just enough room in my cute little notebook, so it was cool. And so the hours go from like midnight to midnight, and then sunset to sunset. So at first it was kind of like I was confused by it, but it's pretty much like basic. It's easier to just go from like the midnight to midnight for me personally to count the hours, because like, I don't know, I have a lot of brain farts when it comes to numbers. It's like I used to not be good at math, but like, I don't know, I do like sacred geometry now with it, which is funny. And then so like what I did for April is I wrote down all the times for the sunrise and the sunset, and then I went ahead and wrote down the days, along with also, you know, the planets, just to like solidify that. And then those are just some notes I have, but yeah, and I got some of this from my grimoire, but you can just like look this up, like moon, good for embassies, voyages, envoys. You know, it corresponds with silver, which, you know, I had. Okay, so I realized I was running out of time, so this is part 2. Yeah, and so essentially, once you have like all this like more practical information written down, then you could, as I said, like, you know, choose your words, your energies you want to focus in on, and, you know, your angel, if you want to work with an angel or demon, you know, whatever. You know, once you have like the number code written down, then you could what am I saying with it? Okay, so I wrote down some notes of suggested uses. And so what I did personally, well, since I incorporated working with an angel to converse with and to kind of guide me, so I not only made a sigil for them using the Magick square, well, it wasn't this one, but, you know, essentially, yeah. Sorry, my mind is like blinking. I also added herbs. You guys know, if you watch some of my videos, I love working with herbs. And so, oh, here, I have it right here. Thank goodness. I just have all of my books with me, like, oh my god, so I'm not being completely crazy and brain farty. My brain is flatulating. I don't know, I'm just crazy. Sorry. Oh yeah, so, yeah, another great part of this book, like I had mentioned, is, it has the planetary rulers if you want to just like work with it that way. So I just like looked really quickly. As I said, I was working with like Mars energy, so I was like, oh, like what do I have and what do I want to use? So like asafoetida, one of my favorites to work with, even though it smells a little rank sometimes when you burn too much. Yeah, and then like garlic. So like for mine personally, I had used like garlic skins because I just started saving them recently. And that was cool. And then I think I added like pepper or something. But I mean, I had like I have more to choose from this like particular section, but those were just the 3 that I personally chose. I just wanted like to use 3. And so again, another reason why I love this book. Thank you, Scott Cunningham. So I definitely use that. I did actually use a candle a little bit that I had lit for another reason, and then I sort of like drizzled on the wax to kind of like seal it. And then also, not only did I create the sigil for the angel I was working with, I actually looked up to see if they had any other like known sigils, and I did find one. And then I don't know exactly, I don't know, I forgot to take note from exactly what grimoire it was, because like I personally like don't have it, and like I have like this list going of like books that I'm wanting to manifest, and I'm just like not sure if I want to like manifest them digitally or book or like physical. And I think physical, like it just kind of, I notice sometimes the small print just like annoys my eyes, but you know, I'm so grateful that like, you know, we have so much knowledge at our fingertips nowadays. It's amazing. But yeah, and then so it's like chanting, visualization and stuff. So I definitely meditated for a while, like actually like I'm not murdering people. Premeditated meditated on with the angel before doing the actual burning of the thing. Sorry, are we allowed to say that M word? Anyways, yeah, so I felt like like they say angel magic works like really fast, and I feel like I did get some results. And like part of what I was told was I actually had to like right some of my wrongs, and then if I just like did a little bit, like, because what I would like, the wrongs I did weren't as bad as like the wrongs that were done to me. And so it was like the angel I was conversing with is like kind of just telling me like, you know, one step at a time, fix the mistakes, you know, that are bothering you because they weren't really within like my character, and like more things will like become set straight. And I already like energetically feel a lot better. Like I all of a sudden picked up some art projects I had been neglecting, and just like all of a sudden, I don't know, I just felt a lot better. And you know, I'm still working on like confidently receiving these downloads and whatnot. And then so I just did another like I don't know if you'd call it like particularly an evocation, but with another angel. And so I chose Zadkiel because I'd been wanting to work with him for a while, and so I thought it'd be perfect today. So this day of Jupiter, and so I was like, oh, like I just I'm just really feeling it, right? Like I'm just like it's funny when you get into magic and like kind of creating your own craft, and and stuff, it just it ends up just being so much of a constant thing. Like, it's not like you just, like, try magic and spells and, you know, witchy things, and then you just, like, put it down for, like, a couple years. It kind of just ends up consuming a lot of your life, just because, I guess, once you really awaken to magic and, like, how it's everywhere and how it's made to appear that it's, like, all fantasy when it's really not. And I've actually had to learn the hard way in that, because there's so many people who have used witchcraft against me, who've used spells against me, who've used voodoo and shit against me, and awakening to that and kind of becoming your own kind of server of karma is really empowering, to say the least. And yeah, so I don't know, hopefully that was like an okay-ish, like, introduction to magic squares, and if not, I ramble too much probably, but I hope, if anything, it, like, sparked an interest into like, new ideas of what you can do to incorporate more, like, planetary work, more sigil work and stuff. Like I said, I probably should have had a better example of like, you know, like an actual example, but there's still plenty of resources online. Like I'm, you know, I'm just here to, like, spread the good word, you know. I'm not, like, the best teacher yet, you know. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed these videos, and see y'all soon. So I figure, why be an asshat, and let me just, like, show you real quick. So I just copied the square for Jupiter, and so every time you, like, write out the numbers in the square, it's always the same, pretty much. And so when you're getting them from the internet, make sure it's the one that's, like, the most consistent across sites. And then let me just write down those, just why not. 16, 34, and then 136. Okay. Yeah, and then but yeah, all these numbers are connected. Like, for example, it's rows of 4, and then 4 times 4, 16, and then 16, yeah, and so on. I used to be bad at timetables, so don't judge me. I forgot, like, how the rest is. It's like, bleh, whatever. Like I said, do your research. It's just, like, numbers, and also this is where I believe you get angel numbers from. Actually, at least in some aspect, you can get angel numbers downloads, like, from this, because when I was doing them earlier, the words I was choosing, which not for my Mars workings, but for my Jupiter workings from earlier today, when I chose luck and success, both of those had 333, and then when I did the one for Sigil, there was a 9 in there, which 3 3s is 9. So that was highly synchronistic, and I was very much, like, I don't know, it had to be those words. So I would have been more astonished if I gotten 3 3 3s in a row. That would have been, like, whoa. but yeah, so you can actually receive angel numbers from doing this. So yeah, I just was like, you know what, might as well make a part 3 and just, you know, be cool. This is like the second hour of Jupiter of the day. Well, finishing it up, so I'm starting this within it still. It's probably gonna go over that, as I can see here, but anyway, going with the rejection key, I'm just choosing love, because I know I just need to bring more love in general into my life, self-love, love for others around me and stuff. So going from the reduction key, it's 3, 6, 4, and 5. Okay, so then you would start at 3 and make a point, like a plot, and then let's see, so 6, we're gonna go up, and then 4 is over there, so then we're gonna go kind of more like diagonal right there, and then down to 5. Okay, and that's the sigil, and that actually looks really clean, nice, simple. Sometimes the other ones, like, I'm gonna just should I do another one real quick, or I don't know. But also, like, let's say this was a bigger, now that you've seen kind of more like how you plot it and whatnot, let's see if we were doing this on, let's see, Mercury maybe? I don't know if there's a 36 in here. There's a 35 though. Okay, let's pretend this 35 is a 36. So sometimes what you can do is, instead of just going one by one, because sometimes, like, for example, when I did the 333, it was like all in there, like, you know, like it wasn't moving very much, it wasn't very fluid. But I noticed, because when the 333 was in there, there was a 1 in front of one of the 3s, and then I was like, oh shit, like that is 13. When it was like 1 3 3 3, I don't know what it was, like 6 9 or whatever, that wasn't it. But instead of going from one number to one number, when you have something like this, and if it's within the square, you can combine it. So I actually ended up redoing that square, and then I started at 13 instead of starting at 1, and that made the sigil like a lot more fluid and a lot less kind of like condensed. And so I just felt like it just flowed way better. The sigil just like made more sense. Like, I really like this one. This one's nice and clean. And so yeah, and I guess love is a pretty good word to, or energy to work with for Jupiter, because Chesed, from the Kabbalah Tree of Life, represents loving kindness. So I guess I actually chose pretty right. I just kind of came up with this on the spot right now, because I was just like, fudge it, like, let me just show you like more or less how it works. And I definitely wanted to add to like how you can kind of bunch up the numbers, because as you can see, like, you know, Jupiter and Saturn, you know, have like a smaller space to work with, and you know, all the ones on this page per se, which if you want you can take a screenshot of this actually, and of this one too, which these are good notes if you can read them. But like, yeah, like these ones, and then even the moon one, there's a lot to work with. So it's a lot easier to combine stuff. And yeah, and I'm glad I share this too, because I totally forgot to mention my 333 synchronicity. And these are some of my silly notes, which they're not that silly, they're just affirmations and stuff. So I don't know why I was like being so secretive. It's not that like weird or like silly, I guess. But yeah, you could also you know, use like the Hebrew letters, like spell them out in English and then use those energies. Like I chose Lamed in my Mars working because I was like, there are like multiple paths in the Tree of Life, like going from one sphere to another sphere. And so, you know, that's a whole other video per se. And so, and I don't even know how many paths there actually are. I personally want to try to map that out myself, because I think I've seen articles saying that there are like 20 something, and then I've seen articles saying that there's like 32 something paths. So yeah, that's something I definitely want to map out myself. Once I redraw the Tree of Life, I definitely want to do a wood burn version. I just have like a light version in one of my sketchbooks. But yeah, and then also, since I've done a few little videos on the 72 names of God, I also wanted to add a quick mention before the time runs out that would also be really great to work with your Magick squares. You know, just like instead of this version, find or create like one in Hebrew and use it that way. So yeah, thank you guys.